A researcher wanted to determine the number of televisions in households. He conducts a survey of 40 randomly selected households and obtains the data in the accompanying table. Complete parts A through H below. So let's click on the table, and what are we looking for? Is the data discrete or continuous? Explain. So let's take a look at this data. So the number of televisions. So I don't even have to open StatCrunch for this one. The data are discrete because they are countable right here, whole number values. We can't have a fractional part of a TV. So generally, discrete, countable, nice whole numbers. And the continuous is when we measure things. Think of weight, time, temperature, things like that. Even though those values are always rounded to some degree, those are called continuous. Construct a frequency distribution of the data. So here again is our table. Now we could go ahead and go through and count these. Wouldn't be too hard with this small data set, but let's use StatCrunch. Open in StatCrunch. I got a feeling they're going to want us to do something else with this. And we can change that to TV if you want. You don't have to. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a frequency distribution of this. So stat, tables, and frequency. TV. And there we go. So we had 1 that had 0, and 13 with 1, and so on. And let's go ahead and press check answer. Look good. Relative frequency, we already have that. So let's pull that back over. Again, here's my relative frequency. And let's make sure we round. It says type in, do not round. So thankfully, these are all the 1 to 3 decimal places. So the first one, 0.025, then 0.325, and so on. Okay, that looks good. Okay, part D, what percentage of households in the survey have 3 televisions? So here we go. Easier to look at the relative frequency. 3 was 0.2, so 0.2 is what percent? 20%. Good. What percentage of households in the survey have 4 or more televisions? So 4 or more is going to be what? It's going to be 5% plus 2.5%, which is 7.5%. Now let's construct a frequency histogram of the data. So I could just kind of eyeball this and see which ones look correct, but let's go ahead and do this in StatCrunch. So back in StatCrunch, I can close this out. And if you ever want to access that again, it's right in here, results, and there they are. If you want to quit it for good, click delete. I might want that again. Let's take a look. So graph, histogram, TVs, and there we go. Okay, so which of these looks like that? It'd be more proper if these actually touch, but I think we get the picture here, and that's usually all we care about. So it looks like B is the one that fits that the most. Let's take a look. I can expand that. Looks good. Now a relative frequency distribution. Now we don't really have to do this, but let's go ahead and do it. Options, edit, and change that to relative frequency. And what do we notice? The shape is exactly the same. The only thing that changes is this vertical axis. So which one of these has the same shape, vertical axis change? This one right here. Notice that D and then the one we picked up here, exactly the same shape. Describe the shape of the distribution. So this is going to be a what? So it's skinny on the right, so slight right skew. Let's see what we got here. Skew to the right. Now sometimes these are open for interpretation and somewhat subjective. Here we go. All right, so I hope that helps.